Bitilo with Mfali Federa. You're listening to Bitilo with Mfali Federa.
Assalamu alaikum bari lamelalu ngali kontong ngali bismillah na bitilo kibaro te jangal nal bari malam falli federa ngali kontong bi arabo July karotili muang anin konontola mbenyin sango men kono konton dro kola drong nsina bula na bitilo kacha kono anin fanan ka kibaro kunde ka kibaro kono jibe bidung nata men kacha akira kuti me alonko adasi tara kulu kono nole men alonko wolelbe Gambia politiko la ko la bulomendo ka sinandi molie kata fendi me alon ko akira kuti meye mojamal data yelerin kadu mojamal fanam ma ako henan kananan wala mundi iko Gambia Democratic Congress memo GDC di jamali alon ni menna honorable Mama Kandeh la patio ay menyaton kaya kibaro le tan je ko wala ni president Adama Barrow la National People's Party membe kulo kam iko wala dumbe so nyokan kaka kilindi ke pare nyin karte fay nala kamba menyanta sodla Gambia banko kan benyin December karim men kono o kambe bengo be sodo kanda men dolto mo state house ti men felenting Gambia banko kam kibaro le tani je ko honorable Mama Kandeh ka nala kantewlu anala pati dingo molu nyin tembenna e be jele atanyin Banjul sato kono Mama Kandeh diamta kibata le jannabe fudala je bari bi la fakana ka wala kacha nga molu soto jameni alon ko lebe mako la kachato ka kol bondi mole nyoto kaji ko de nga dinka ko nyin kono nga jibe nyin so nyo kan membe men soro taten NPP ni GDC tema wo dum be mune wuluno la politiko e Gambia ba ko kan nyirebe kala fendi malon ko ning Omar Ba Standard Newspaper la chief political correspondent nyanta ka wala kacha the chief political editor nyanta wala kacha la aning Sirfo Sonko fanambe kafulamma kibaroro bari kondalta ka kanyam bitilo don se katabato jibeke kunto kibaro la nga jibeke fanan high court la special criminal court damenti alon ko sana manjanna kite wurda e kay balambay tan do dati ningo be botala sina blo kacha kono bari ngolu ngali konton ko ke na bitilo kibaro de jang anal bari malum falli federa APS international wole blobe na bitilo kibaro koto Vibes FM atol membe moy kan radio to Gambia banko kan albe moy ka woleto na kunda kibaro lu katabake ka jibe mbo folo la menna wala mu kuma kan walti men boda loya Ousainou Dabo bulu ngo kibaro mota men bulu wala mu Standard Newspaper badi e ko United Democratic Party la loya Ousainou Dabo kunun atele ya seneyandi dalilo me atinna ate nala patio molu ye isingo bondi ate nyin coalition task force mediation committee la katakul kono kaji ko de banko opposition le sonyo kan yeke kilindi loya Ousainou Dabo na reke modi malon ko amanke lundanti politique kunda baro la tan je ko ate dalilol men yitandi wala mu ko ko dalli jamala be tol bul tan je ko silam men e bota nyin coalition task force mediation committee kono professeur Yoro Mbalo men nyatun ka Yoro Jallo men nyatun ka Mbalo men nyatun ka ako silang ibe katala menna sonyo kan katakola wala mu ka buluti ka fame ko Apex initiative e ko la Ousainou Dabo nyin commencer sifalu sada UDP la bureau bala to men felenti manja kunda sada kono damenti alon ka be diam kan num parti dingol ya nim banko molu e la dalilo la anim fanan mun simfale be bulu nyanda tamala menna silang nyin ko be kola ata du yemetandi wala mu ko ako ata jigitala ko nyin coalition task force mediation committee ako ye satol men yalon ko UDP te sonna la wala ako e satol le fan la ni mealon ka ata jigita ko wol manke satta tilindindi iman sembe tonyala ko ayta ni nyamen ako dolu fango beje yo wulindi ate kungo fango le kamba sartol men yalon ko lebe dending flag biara la tombo nyinna ko sartol men yalon ko mo nyanta wala timmandila janni nyin coalition task force be kala flag biara di ko ayta ni nyamen ko manta sonna wala ka ayta ni nyamen ko kadum mollel be nyin coalition task force mediation committee kono bela ko nyatun kakan mol men yalon ka ko commando ye kuma kan jawlu fo ani ye UDP kaja fo ani parti ko tan ka ayta ni nyamenna ako adabe ila sarto kono iko momo yalon ko amari se ila criteria mem musatol di melandi flag biara kunnato la nyin coalition la so nyokan ako adabe sarto do sarto kilimbe je wo e meyitandi wole mu ko e ko ita mari e manyan na kala modi men nanaka coalition sabotage comme e manyan na kala modi malon ko ila kuwat na fo coalition namanan abula so ako atala miroro yewo nyong sarta sival dundi wokono ka wulinda ta kundi ngola kamba relation dabo ako kadu mol kam memfo even though aman sembe kula ako kam mem la UDP kan ala ta kundi ngo wala mu ko ito leliat na fam fo president Adama Barrow bota wo coalition kono 2016 kwa ita ni nyamena nyinni sarta kotangolu ata relation dabo wala yitandi ka itandi je ko ye men sude UDP wala mu ko ata tarala na fato ka tenten ka bulo ko kono kadu ngi jigitala ko to nyamantra je nimboro do mbadi ngolu nga jibe ke kibaro do la nga men soto jam e ko Gabon la president way kaf me ko Bryce Nguima e ko ibe yilla kan ka tan nyanta futala Gambia banko kan July karoti soma July karoti tan sabola mbenyin sama men kona be tarla Gambia kabo soma kata fo August karoti franjam ko kibaro le tan nyamena e ka tele na Gambia be denni menna wala mu ka badiya julo kontindi na banko fulanu tema Gambia ni Gabon ya tani je ko ala tarawato Gambia kono ikanin president Adama Barrow be ben sotla abita kumpa bola dula kotangol to dementi yalon ko yirwani nyatuta bundalel mu Gambia abita University of the Gambia la Faraba campus abita National Food and Drug Quality la kundaba re mello bursubi amamme anin dula kotangol men boko loptan kuto mello ra atanyin farato sato kono nimboro hani bi nga jibe ke kibaro do fanana nga men sore jango kere kibarti melon ko obedendi menna wole mu police officer sabaliti ikoye menu bay ila doku wala nin kankularo bota banko police kunda eko police constable Aliou G Camara eko ya bayle atele keta o moti me alon ko ya atele muta video kono atata findi bidikatiyo kan kaw silandi ka pipindi ka ko fengolu forcé to kaninga bulu eko police officer kotem fulalu menu lata Aliou G Camara kan wolel mu constable Buba Touré anim police constable Ismaila Ba eko yewul fanam be bay katu ye kulelke men nim police olula sartolu nin kolula nyamanta ko kibarolu yaitandi nyamenna e ko nyimmo sabolu be na reke fen molti men yalon ko e ko ye i datile fanke kitindi ila kitio ko yaitandi nyamenna yaitandi je ko ina taitandi ko ye tumiro men le kan ko sontalale bri songo itandi wala e ko inate bay ko kibarolu yaitandi nyamenna sanna nyuse banga nyin kibaro muta wolel bulu policeolu fanam yaitandi je ko ito la police kunda e ko i bukasong kula men yalon ko anin silo nin sarto manda sako kulu fangol men yalon ko e se malo sabuno police kunda male ko kibarulu yaita ni nyamina nimboro mbadi ngolo nga jibe ke kibarala kiti bungola karola e ko magistrate e fofana men fele Bruce bi magistrate court e ko kunun wole Michael Sambu la kitio te ko atele kitio landiko Michael Sambu be tarla bulkono la follow Bruce bi fo janning ala kitio budla Michael Sambu yata tumi menna wole muko sanji fula dindingo sunkutindingo iko ay wala laño ya o sorata Bruce bi face tu kono ko kibaru le tan nyamena iko atening kafme ko inspector OJT mem mabete num police ol to ala je tel mu loyalty atel duye meten wala mu ko Michael e nyin sanji fula dindingo muta laño ya nyin karin ko non be men kono te mem mu julaidi ko ay tan nyamena kabe sesiro kala kiti ngola puru e se Michael to bulu kono follow kaatu ko kiti e ba sound lele kasamba high court meni sembo soto kanyi nyong kiti sifake Brawo daniro kele mu kiti tela nyi nata o kango diala ka atenyi Michael ta ka landi kiti ngoro pour kiti setende nimboro do mbadi ngolo nse jibe ke kiti la kataba ke kiti me alon ko sana manjang ba kono lieutenant colonel sana manjang eko ala kiti membe ke kan high court men felenti Banjul wole wuduta a wuduta ni menna eko sana ya datile ka la balambay ka balambay tan do dati kiti kono kiti me alon ko abe wole kono baro le tan je ko atanyin sana alanyin kiti tambila nal hakilo baka yata tumi menna wala mo tajirinte anin tilmbala tumi jamal lata kan kiti di wato mo faabe o kono bari nato mo fa tumirol ta ye jolo nal hakilo baka amam me commando bari kibaro nata tan je ko dadile kala balambay tan do ke nyin kiti kono adabe kumal kono ay menu sata kiti ngodo wala mu abodulati ani muntu maladi nda sujar kunda mbina kono bari ko jannin sana fango be futala wodo e ko biri kilo ke kitiola pra wutu ala lawyer e daniro ke kitiola pour ito laftale ye bail application o men dundin sanato yala law kidi tambila e laftale pour ko ji bail application o nyinta ka jolon ko ayitandi nyamenna dal hakilo ba kam biri sana la tumirol falen ye faro bondije ala lawyer e bail application o dundile non kadando ko kiti mola pour isa bula bail la bari ala lawyer na taytandi kiti mola nyin kidi tambila ko e laftale pour ko bail application o ta ka jolon ko kibaro lati nyame ko banko la loyalu nata songale mambalan wala birwo kerelem sana nata bulala sataro kono ay me yitandi balamba yitando kono nyin kano ni jabiro kono men sorota atna la loyatema akate mu birika man koleti akabe sabateri woleto ay tani je ko dinsey ako wole bate bulu ay tani je ko akafuta Gambia sujar kundama kunda kono January karole kono 1994 sangola ko ay tani nyame na ka marata makama jamalula adabe makamolu kono amarata menna sojer kunda wala ma kakata regimental police officer at Fajara barracks ninkum sojero la policeolu ko ay tani nyame na ay tani je ko abodo fo wat dandan inata yala makamu lafa ka lafan ako makamu lafata wala nyama fo afutata lieutenant colonel palasodo o kibaru le ay tani nyame na sala farana sataro kono ay tani le ko ata dabe mol kono le yemenu kinum pour yeta commando training la Libya ako meni ye karandi woto wole mu jama hiriya Libya moluti colonel Gaddafi la molu ye karandi commando training la ala nyum offensive ko tangolu ko ayta ni nyamenna ako biringata ta training la je akala traino na reke fendime alon ko ay molu nyabo men be train kanje biringa ye nyabo wol nata fay ko ite be tulantol bulu janne folo ay saje kalim mako e kamo ko tangol ta ke train ko ayta ni nyamenna ako wole nata ke ay sanje dantanke atanyin Libya akabe woloto kanyin Libya no mako e ka commando kotangol train commando kotangol men yalon ko wolel kabunan Gambia kanaje ko ayta ni nyamenna ko biri wati botale lemo anata murunan Gambia bira murtanan Gambia ako ya akafu menuma e ka foy ko di kanila patrol unit ko ayta ni nyamenna ako nyun la do ko munu mendi wole mu pour ka bankola nane o yayi na nane o membe nin Senegal tema fo nyula karola ako la do ko mo woldi ka yayi ka kanta kaji ko de mo kurngol kanabu Casamance yeddun nan Gambia ka fitno sabuje ko ayatani nyamena ayatani je ko lo patrol team do ko kono ko kanyo falinne bara ayatani je ko akoybe menna kanko ko wole mu state house commandati ko wari sotanu abirata be kafu kanje membe nun je wole mu Ousmane Badjiri ko ayatandi nyamena nyinin kuma ko tan wala wolle sataro fananke operation do la ata fango bulata men kono adabe o kono ako wati sotanu Casamance rebello li Gambiano dingo dolu mutanun aytani je ko ate sojerolu nyaton kay tata wo rebelolu noma ay akoy ni wolu kelata e nyobun kidola men siata montro tanani miniti tanani luluti akoy nata nyim molta ye kanandi bulu ye sambay tata ye di kallaji police station la ko Gambian worowlolu men be nyun bulu ako mo man fa ikono killing damma wala baramata atankato ko aytandi nyamenna mbadi ngolu al selamo demanding nyim murtanan ko nga faale nyamen nga Omar Ba soto jang me alon ko atele mu standard newspaper la chief political editor ning mbe sirifo sonko fanan sot la jang sirifo bayo sonko kanadun kacha kono kacha me alon ko wolebe dending atenyin kula membe ke kam politique kunda menketa kuti me mo jamalu datu yelering menketa honorable Mama Kandeh GDC-NPP la so nyokangori ngal bolo sey man kemesen keksane soto no bi kana ka bula kacha kono ko nga fa nyamen nga kankula nyamen dinkilalto mole me alon ka jato mantra sahari nyin tembenna mbe duwala e fo alasa so.
You're listening to Bitilo with Mfali Federa.
Mbadi ngolu ngali konton koreke na Bitilo kibaro do ko nga fa nyamen nga Omar Sorojang Omar Ba ko nga fa nyamen ate be do ko kekan standard newspaper lay Omar le mu standard newspaper la chief political editor dabe mol kono le men yalon ko kantiol le mudije bari ni ara political la karola tele mu kebati wo karola kibatala kono men yalon ko wolel beje Omar ila screen be lori ne de malon fo ben moy kan okay perfect thank you very much indeed content and say what a case sura jang beso kan watila me alon ko mo safa fanko namanaji kule fanam be keken Gambia tarigo be kekan til dandan commando nga Omar Wali sura nu jang on my show itoma ay me yitani wala muka ko politico nyambu modi ngola be katla demento mo malong. I think that is the best expression to describe what we are seeing given nga ngem memoy kabu Mama Kandeh bulu anin GDC kuma kan woli yemen wuli ni president Adama Barrow kamba bari bi nataje ko bi dum wolel be so kan nyokan first of all me nyin kala menna wala mu ila reaction on monet yen ko be kara nyaadi le me alan ko be kikante
abaraka bake falli malam foy be moy kanne
be moy kanne loud and clear yeah
thank you come here me for Gambian political maybe for African political nyambu mori ngale masekatino dawoda and anytime what for what masekatino bari political ntefe maje wo nyama ntefe political anyanda principle le sotola because politician ite ila doko mo minti wala ka banko nyini andum banko niya nyini ya soto ikana molle mara and mol min kana mol mara wo nyanda principle sotola amanyanda kala moti mi yalo ite sino wati o wati don yefalin hani banko la kumaya tambita bari ntol nga waleje Gambia bari amanke fanan na politician ol bele man principle soto wo fanan niya fo yedol tojel nga molje janne miliyalon ka birin chuk idunta politiko to fo bi ila principle li ka kantal hali ni be diato nga molje le jammin tata fo vice president position olto ibota man sakunda ye bayile of course bari ni laftano ngi be stay la jel bari maybe ila principle wala tinna imam kunno man sakunda ibota man sakunda wala principle oti andun dol nsulata wo sifal na politician olto kandala ko amante surprise because nte nimino ka politiko kacha ni yenyi kai bafle for the past 2 years kabrin 2021 for NPP be kande normally bari kolbe koleari I'm sure imang bendu on certain issues le wala na kande man na bari it's not because kande
we lost you there. We lost you there for a minute. Fenko Chantelo. Yes, ibe fenna sara.
Yeah, so maybe
go ahead.
Yeah, maybe fokan megwalem. Kande nying kumasi a long time. NPP beta normally put sabana. Andung ila kachal kono ika mitnun ika kacha. Bari mam bennum kumolet. Kande laftanu minna. Maybe mam bennum wal. Wala atina amanna no kabring juna. Bari amanke kom ala principle le atina amon join NPP ndema jo nyam. Kandela support base. Me alone ala support base munete. Ala mulu you can vote it kaya and where they are ngalon. So ngala stronghold fanan lon ka voting so dami. 2016 me agela performance minke. And in 2021 wojita nyami because of Barola coming in. You know, I'm sure 2026 now state alone with the coming of Talib Bensouda in the context, I'll vote Sol Begena Jilale because we know where they are. And Ati Barrow and Talib, you expect them to get a lot of votes from those areas. So Kande in essence, Mamira a chance sort of in 2026 Purka election will win among chance sort of. So our best bet would have been one, either I join one of the opposition parties also, UDP, a decision that maybe Mimbala probably na working na prediction he would not have gone with his supporters. Na UDP join because majority of them would not have voted for a UDP candidate. Na UDP join. That I know. I will not say all the nitty-gritties that are there, but they know and I know because I talk to them and I know what is the mindset in the party and the mindset of their supporters. So Ilatato NPP is not a surprise. I want to surprise there at all.
Okay.
Until I was expecting it. For some Gambians, it came as a surprise because Kandeh was a strong critic of Barrow here and there, but Dr. Cisse was a strong critic of Barrow. Modu Savali was a strong critic of Barrow, and you can name them. But political Gambia, majority of our politicians, even in quarterly, put ila own interest. Ika comfortable daming, ikata walto, where is comfortable. But in Minubel lowering put Gambia.
Okay, so love ke nyininka menna. Yefem for jang, I want to pick up on that. A couple of things that I want us to unpack ni bonyodo. Follow. Ye mem for iko nyim. This has been in the works for the past 2 years. Kule me alonko abe tamakanne amete tereng.
Since
But love ke
2021, not just 2 years.
since exactly was yada to 2020 was yada sanji fulatile. So love ke nyininka menna. Mune atina ila miroro this time around it worked. You know, imeta ko tamala, imeta ngani kono tamala ka kulo kono tama. Mune atina itala miroro Mama Kandeh sonda ka kafu nyin silola kata ka kafu President Adama Baroma.
Ntala mind read la no, but ntala own judgment no. One as a political reporter and someone who has been following Gambian politics for the past 20 something years. Memi follow no je walem. Mama Kandeh right now I'm option jamaso. Option jamal tije. The only option I think so to walem kata baro wala ka join any of this coalition wala ita UDP join. So what option sabol wale babul. Kata UDP la coalition no join wala kata arrangement no do join yalo maybe Taliban Walto or any other political party wala ita baro. So saying the realities on the ground are only Jube. One, I alone maybe party in man sembo so right now put election will be na family. That is out of it. So but the sign put kata modo join come let's say new commercial political kata will join will yep coalition no lead maybe I be wo jelale as a defeat put at a personality to as a politician especially given a performance of in 2016. So the other thing for him the easiest way out obekela barolity because that is for anybody me along among choice temaso to make the easiest out way out especially miatara itala aim and ila principle manke principle strong ningolte for the nation's interest namanto because in the faith kunung itanala no ya for baro man bete ya baro la man sekunda mandara Gambia samba kamku and biena yeta baro join side ite ilafta bode mo defo itala ko itala mjumati ite ke mira nyaadi le mune mu itala principle munata na ite dunda political munata la ite lafta Gambia malala so it's important mo li nyini ka work external because mo ni balanda fenna kunu ni lafta la bi nyanta na lafta what has changed mune different baro e mune for the past maybe 2-3 weeks nimba tina la Kandeh ala mind change ka baro join ni atara in the nation interest I have for mole because amanke just here na if you have mole I'm joining because of the nation's interest man Gambia la interest or long multi molbe ya Gambia la interest molbe Gambia la interest molbe ya lonne ko beta ka nyami ndabanke politician oti I cannot speak on behalf of the politician opposition or the politicians but ga lonne not much has changed since 2021 to date nimba na la Kandeh ba fala nyin reason la yatina meta baro ndema woje so I feel like for him this is the best option among the maybe few options this is the best option one he might think Barrow stands a good chance given the fact that opposition or Imam Bedro Bunka coalition or form maybe Barrow has a better chance to win. He might think like that. Secondly, he might think that niatara agreement or any Barrow sign at a comfortable to agreement on tole and a comfortable to fanang purkatani can in Barrow a join because a jacket Barrow will win. For him that is going to be the best option. Nimbaro winter, nake vice president, nake National Assembly the speaker. As people are doing, we don't know. They are not sure what is there or what he wants. NPP with. I'm in London.
That's no. That's one thing. Whether at this point in time, ngalone Mama Kandeh be mensotela in return for this coalition because coming ngalo nyame politician ol buka kuke kensen kamba ebuka kuke duala, basically everything is interest oriented ko ya fa nyame mo be ka terela interest le bayndi kanje ya on salen kam fo. So in this case, do we know what Mama Kandeh is getting in return for this alliance? Ngadolu moy dol ba fla ko vice president, dolba floko speaker ya. So I don't know whether in your reporting, in your line of engagement with people around the corridors of power, for Yalone, what Mama Kandeh is going to get in return for.
Min begin a rumo kam falli walem the position of vice president. Ngamere wole be rumo kam bake wole be kacha kam fanam bake. Bari modol fanam ba fokan it could be also speaker of the National Assembly. I'm not sure about that. So war flow because Kandeh Nialong is a former parliamentarian, experienced parliamentarian. Tata for ECOWAS parliament, I tata wo betule, and in committee Jamal, in regional parliaments. But among senior because ntol usually nin kunin kusifal kita ibuka finti ka fo mole nyin nyin beje ibuka clear but we expect Kandeh ni atara aka principal lolu kumandi abato immediately after signing the pact today so ma wala before weekend of the banner Funzilla like press conference organized. I have for media his reasons. Munatana NPP join and Munebiji. I clear because Wofanang is part of accountability, not just for the media, but also for the Gambian people, but also for every other person who supported him for the past years, every other person who believed in his policies, who believed in him, to tell those people, this is the reason why I'm joining Barrow, and this is the reason why I think this is the right time to join him. Because all along he has denied these rumors among some all along among some and Barrow Kachala, all along among some there will be any time a better Barrow among some. Because Mtolbeka Moinuna Kandeka Diamu Nyami, Naka Barola Kofu. You can see sometimes you can even feel the hate in his speeches. But like I said, it's happening. Why? Barolebe in the right position to tell us why Abedakang NPP and in Kalabarokang at this crucial time where I think Minusia that Gambian or Kono. Yeah, Miraleko Gambian needs change. I am sure many Gambians imantara change commandikan just because Imam Baro like he change commandikan because of a simple principle. Mini along 2016 kabirin kelo bekega kajambe bondija that was part of the principles ka foko sa intol fana lafta ka ko banku dol comme Senegal ani banku dol Nigeria man la fi na president o e taraja min tambita 2 term 10 years ipareda weda yela doko pare imam pare modo fu wo fana ye continue ya bula dabi nalo many Gambians mini along ibe nyin cool fight kan iba fight kan mula kamba amanke because man la fi baro e lafta baro ye boje ay modo fu ay Gambia la democracy consolidate because also part of democracy fanam walem nyin time limitol most of West African countries only minubundi ni 2 time ke whether sanji nani le whether sanji lululem ni wo bandara ke boje e modo fanam fu so we expected that barobe wo kelale because akono ngabe sila 3 years late what tambita nga understand that's not a problem constitution of sonta wala le constitution of sonta le pura tambi for 20 years now after bari out of courtesy and out of love for country more expected him after this second term I boje I election organized me along dunia bebe election in ko fulale ala transparency and ala fairness more in winter Gambia ni mo mo dikita no
Wolemu Omar Bati. Omar Ba is the chief political editor for Standard Newspaper. Kibatala kibajenjam bunda memfelentin Gambia banko kan natele be kachakan be men kachakan wolemu kuti me alonko abe Gambia benkan nyin tembenna menkera GDC ning NPP la so nyokongoti bengobe kekan nyin tembenna State House damenti alonko honorable Mama Kandeh atata faku president Adama Baroma aning ala NPP fasa lalu al nyabe nyim video men na teng honorable Mama Kandeh lebe nyim video kono kali aje nyamen abe futa kan State House ko ngamu nyame I think this is either ninkam doko ala bauba dinkirato le mototi bari ngalon ko aketa nyanya mubi this was on his way kata State House kafu president Adama Baroma ani ngala NPP aku meta kumulalet ko nga fa nyamen ako meda ku folale kununko kabirin kununko len kibarul findira kibarul men yaytandi ko tani honorable Mama Kandeh la GDC ni president Adama Barrow la NPP e dun tabadi bunde be kacha kanne pour ye soño ko soto biringa ko kibaro findanu mol soto da men be GDC men ya ko nyimbay e kamanke ku soto rendi bari yara fan kule melon ka be ke kan nataje Mama Kandeh la MP do men nana sita ala patio to ala député bungoto wo fanan nata ka manya doluke wara ka safaro doluke internet to me yaytandi molla ko de sobe akamta ko molbe men kumu kan kule me alon ko kusutori nem ko bira yaytandi ko ata fanan silang abe fonyo kan ala GDC yalale kala place o sey mun kukan ko ni nyonki bar sifa me alon ko be kumu kan wala mem be ko kibaro yaytandi nyamena nyaabe nyi mem belaten nyimbe mu Mama Kandeh la futo watol di bira futata State House men felenti Banjul sato kono le nyinti alnyaabe Mama Kandeh la ten anin Sidi Njai anin mo ko tangol men yalon ko wolel ya bendun State House bundato i doman dunda wala nyama fo State House kono baye batu je State House kono do ko nga akalam de nyame nyindo fanam mu anoda natalo doltinga même fanam muta online alnyaabe mol men la ten nyinu mu GDC dingol lelti e beddun kan State House de kono ten kata bayoto damanti yalon ko bengo be ke ka woleta Mama Kandeh ni president ma barola so nyo kam bengo ko ngaytandi nyamenna so ngamenu soto jang kana ka kafu Omar kan kachato katabake drong wolel mu tuba marzi tuba kiramoti malon ko ate mu data statistician oldi manam ni nata yirkaro ni control karola politiko to atela londo lukata bakadiki wala karola ate kiramoti malon ko be lafla nata fane kacha ka jibe ke Mama Kandeh la tala ase muna wuluno ani mun nafale ba kunnatola president Adama Barrow e ani politique kunda nga sirfo sonko fanan soto jam ate kera moti be alon ko ate mu UDP barama doleti tuba mbela flaka kacha folo yetelela ning Omar be kacha kan nun jang comme Omar ya tani nyamenna ako nying badi ya julo e meta tamala dumale ako ala miroto nyaaje Mama Kandeh sonta nyin silola tumando bato ay nafale ja fango je in the sense that ajikita ko tumando bato ning atuta opposition kunda ate nyaton ka palaso soto nola bari na lota fango fanan ate gagné nola aje ko jangde ko kata damento do mbatu ngadula bayndi damenti alon ko jikobe warade woldo sa la fakede nyininga menna tuba I think mo jamalu membe bulu wala mu ko fo Mama Kandeh la ta abe president Adama Barrow nafala le bang fata nafala because dolbe mem foka wala mu ko molu ba normally ay sembo soto dol ko de aman sembo soto so lafta ye molu mako e woleto in terms of Mama Kandeh la sembo karola hadama dingo men nanka mo ba noma menu be bulari nga noma ala sembo be mun tembele do please.
Okay, thank you Mfali mbe kontona mbe Omar kontona songo Gambia fan mbe mbe kontona anira lamo lal be melbi lamo e kan yin temboto puruka kumo nyin jabi akono fanuto domandine amanke fengoti me alonko isafono le directly wonyama fo aba na fala fata na fala me o sabu wolen ni nada Mama Kandeh jube kabring a start in 2016 then in 2021 jube the potentials membe taraje wolen ni nga commencé 2016 na kabring Mama Kandeh be lola follow ke election ola in 2016 menketa no wolen atele lota num president Barrow be nunje for the coalition jamme fanum be nunje. But at that time, Mama meant sort of it was about 16% because I remember coalition 43% sort of.
Well, I don't know what's happened.
Ian Tolbamo can loud and clear. Maybe it is a do you fin this rivo.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Nina Rajibe Jamme at 40% sort of coalition 43% sort of Mama 16% sort of obviously there are some 16% it a win no, but more believe teleko a major role play that year because niaje mojam ate APRC I wole manung pour que sembo bang where coalition la winning was a little bit easy. Another Sonia coalition obulu. Nina in 2021. Mama la percentage, not just the percentage, but the numbers ilafatale because Mama have about 105,000 votes out of all the votes menul narije because atele munun third position. President Barrow na NPP wole ganyeta followed by UDP then Mama nada but Mama for je mosi je firin demanding. We have to na dam into Wolenko. It was not all GDC. Because I think if I can remember very well ko Mama Kandeh at that time Yajambe endorsed Lenum for the APRC Noto Alliance. So APRC Noto Alliance will sembo will fata no GDC can another 505,000 votes sort of. So sai
wala mun yinkarte fa tambilari
2021, of course. I remember talending Bufa Zone Auto. Lamin Tamabe Nunje, member na UK, Atata Kakafu for Puru APRC Noto Alliance Fengola. APRC Noto Alliance, Jamefan and Diameter at the Bufa Zone through a mobile phone. Mama Kandeh endorse. So APRC Noto Alliance la Sembo. Membeable, you know, obviously APRC Benyamin Banko Kang, Cabo Fonila Kana, Talindi Mafang la Kata Bankola Dula Rolto, Jamaica Diko, Melbata, no, my Melnata Tella, Atamantara Lola, the Atamantara J Science, but it's a Kafu Mama Kanema. This is what I remember. So, will not a Kafu Mama, obviously, Ninjambe order pass Doro, that goes straight into that. So, will not a Kafu Mama Kanema Yele Sembo Diala, 105,000 sort of. So, I'm only GDC. But Sambe Tembo meant to tang, near call cross, what and call. Mama la taka kafu baroma ko Omar a very good analysis leke jang askeno obviously as an opposition nalo ta faye baroba nyatole UDP ba nyatole so a telephone mbe wol koma so abetula at that opposition side le ganye nabe kela from the opposition side moli akatandi back UDP le because of their numbers so mama te auto soto la no maybe saying ala ta barokang few things le rumors bejele ko Mama Kandeh sakeno VP or another position at the state National Assembly. Ninga Barota Ganye in 2026. But if because Baroya Saturday Nunko Atemu Fenkole, he's a fan of time limits. Dolba for Kanko Fang, as Keno Lefanang near Adam Barote Ronna, Mama will become a flag bearer for NPP because with the GDC amalgamation, Ateseke did de facto flag bearer because Nimama Tata Ganyeta water, Neata Ganyebe Kele, Naganyeta water sign, Kol Meliale Selano Adam Barokang, Ning Nabotaji, obviously the post presidency Ning, Ningo be not obviously, you know, commissioner Ning Kudo, Neata NPP. GDC coalition yin nada gagné sa ni mama be president yala askeno asala anin baro mali be d'accord la minele ase ko fontano la aya put into effect isaje barote mote baro investigate la no baake ku jamal menon ke dalunje
okay Tuba just a quick one I will come back to you in a bit but Omar
yes
I want to come back to you on this idea molka memfoko President Barobe Mama Kandeh vice presidency dilala do you think that is plausible yamira ko so to know because Baro ya for Moli ne clearly at a left like me ke vice president. I think sorry, I'll say and nim hakilo bakang wato mena num vice president Fenka Banta. What is his name? Badara. The president said at a time ke la vice president or the member interest of la plazo. And Mama Kandeh ndol be ngalo ne wenyabe lorim presidency lekang. Do you think the president will offer him the vice presidency, Omar Ba? Ela Michael be Omar.
So maybe Fokan political, or let me say Gambian political don't rule out anything. After I can't promise one ko ni nata. Ning winter making a vice president. As a keno ayaki, as a keno falang, I look, sign winter lede, buddy. He promised me dinner lede, buddy, mamma over Kelano because Manley. Ninga vice president of the Sakeno, Yena Palasota. You know, I'm just joking about that.
Yeah.
But it's possible, like I said, maybe ni agree to one, yeah, sign. As a keno, but in te, come here for Manjiki. About position of Dila. Maybe ministerial position or Speaker of the National Assembly. Because niya jube famo, ninkande nabe option or tala, the best bet, the National Assembly. Because you never know what happens in politics. Because National Assembly, Jelem Palaso Miyalo Sikota. The moment he is Speaker of the National Assembly, Barota Baila no Kotak. That is the fact. Constitutionally at a bailan. So, but in a vice president or minister, Nicole Tijada as a baino at any time. Especially as vice president. Now I understand or I feel about undermine Kandeh as a baino at any time. So Nintelem candidate, if I am going to bargain, I'm going to bargain for the Speaker of the National Assembly. It's a fixed place. You go there for at least for 5 years. More time, you're good. But politician on them, vice president position bad. There be president or no. Maybe I will insist on that. But Hanina Kita, Gambia political ka betaka nyami. Benim predict la ko at Laban. Anim baruto opposition not. Hanina I would deal in case they won the election and I deal is a Laban with that in that position in Laban. I can predict that. As a political reporter and understanding the dynamics of Gambian politics, it's a Laban. Because and I think this has been the problem between him and Hussein Dabo. I'm not sure what happened there, but I am sure Dabo ka fenne fale mini ala malafika moy. And when that happened, I can feel like he got undermined. Yalong ndola political system benyami. You bring people around you, mini ala, you trust them. Well, you trust them not because they can offer you anything, no, but because you think you are comfortable when they are around you. So, yemingo min kacha, ini yemingo min kacha do ke advice min na walem. Pour me be diali. Ninge undermine. Ni lafte yablale. So banko buka borindi bo nyama because more fante fatan te nim banko. Nim banko mum be talent. So whether you are the president, the National Assembly member, the minister. Simple as that. Nothing much. You are just understand. But in Tola Mole, understand.
Okay.
They don't understand that.
Thank you very much. Today, be the Mama Kandeh nyaming Birakata State House. A fongobe malamala kangabe muila drong. So probably Nikuya beje probably yewo be kachale yabang. But ikam memfo. Baroning Mama Kandeh temo sani wato menna fon ikatu nyo kaja fila politika no kono ila kumakangolu ka dimi bakele de ika kumakangolu men wulindi nyo kamba. So I don't know what it took to overlook that, but I know fananko kanyina wala mumelake fereng abe kole ala bakele definitely for the long run. But sirifo lafa kedel fanan samanang I want us to look at UDP in coalition member kerim but jannim bita auto fanam Kenyininka on this so nyoka ngola mensorada UDP
yanda du ko malade mampareno yanda du ko malade
just for me I just sit for me badul kulale but sit for la fa kenyininga menna moluko silang this is the end nga honorable Maimuna Sisela video jive la interview and in QTV mensoro before I come ako this is game over ninkumu abandale. So you have NPP member Kuloka and they have Mama Kandeh. Mama Kandeh has numbers, more than 100,000 votes. Saying munjikele be UDP nim party ko tongale je sirifo. Ela Michael be murine. Mol bu ke nya fana njere.
Thank you so much. Abarka Bake, be content Bake nila Gesol Melalan ko biyang Omar is a great journalist. I've been following him for a while now. Yeah, but anyway, Yuninkaro Menke, Yuninkar Kuma Balem. But Omar Mbekumaklina for him Fali. Gambianolu, Kunu, ila fahamro political con, Animbi, ila fahamro political con, Amankeling. That is something everybody have to accept. And in political situation before 2016, and in political situation science and thing is completely different, right? Mama Kandeh, anybody who is telling you Mama Kandeh did not have numbers, Umari is in denial. But Mama Kandeh actually have numbers. You understand? And at the election, they are numbers le put. That respect, moto bondilo na bulokon. But now the assurance is now, Mama Kandeh moving to NPP. Will you be able to convince all those numbers they were behind him? This is the main question everybody have to ask. Now let's look at Mama Kandeh's base also. Mama Kandeh, if you look at Nintaran Carola, ni Kabon in 2016, Mama Kandeh did also to Blali Melto. Kabinara 2021. in that parliamentary elections, Mama Kandeh allowed Bitilo Muru back to that parliament, back to those seats. That is something we have to look at. Jumale Udlalta, who actually was in control of those bases. I mean, it was the president, because President Ola Bitilo, many of Mama Kandeh Bitilo debata, and he was not able to go back to, the parliament. Okay, now let's go and again, for example, Councilor Cartefayo. Councilor Cartefayo Kutajan. GDC Councilor no Mundo. You can count. Right? And yet still, I am not saying this comment GDC did not have numbers. And anytime I say they did not have numbers, but now Cartefayo will Kachakanja. Because Tuba can actually give us the data. Right? Because Cartefayo is all about numbers. And that's why in our party we believe in numbers so much that we cannot leave numbers in any discussion, right? So Mama Kandeh ta baroka medula fulala jibela je mol me Mama Kandeh noma ibe Mama Kandeh noma minala. That is something I'm going to tell you. Why are they following Mama Kandeh? Are they following Mama Kandeh because of Mama Kandeh's personality, or they are following Mama Kandeh because he left like Gambia la bondi? Niatara ilaftaka Gambia la bondi. Mama Kandeh joining Barrow. For whatever Gambia bond la bank. This is another thing me go banku do. You know, you have right to think about it. But now let's all look at this. Mama Kandeh kumakan jelle for Barrow. Mama Kandeh kumakan jelle for Omasa Kundanyama. But the latest one, Mama Kandeh memfo. All of you to go. Ako karre fayo, ako karre kaiti save omen gataja, ako tele omen keji. Mama Kandeh la yafo. There is no political party leader in this country to give such statements. Follow. In that time, Mama Kandeh was the first person to come and give such statement about okay. Abe Jumala Tumika, Abe NPP la Tumika. Now, it be NPP men Tumika for them to is very illegal, and that thing is not solved yet now. It is a couple now. Do you really have it? You have to ask yourself: was your struggle or a kilo or it was? I mean, for the Malam for Gambian, because you cannot. You cannot form a political party. You can only form a political party when you have people behind you. First of all, you have to build an executive. And from an executive, you have to look for the grassroots workers. All those people, you look for them, or some of them, they actually come to you because of what you told them. And now, if you turn around and want to tell them different things, it's something that we have to look at it. But if you look at Mama Kandeh, Mama Kandeh, Kojibe, I mean, political
yeah. Because no, but still, left some memfola. Lafta memfola. Ngabe na mamali imantra moikang.
I can hear you, Fali.
Yeah, Sirfo, are you hearing me, Sirfo? Sirfo, akam doko Sirfo mantra moikang. Me problema sura. But Tuba, let me have you quickly. Bawo ita mang time jama suro. Omar, just bear with me. I just wanted to ask Tuba. Yefem for jang iko Mama Kandeh 2016 aning sembo men nata amanke komen GDC la sembo doro nemo
2021 ha
2021 sorry it was also APRC Noto Alliance la Fasaro, and then APRC Noto Alliance is a formidable force, right? Because I was really surprised being ye ngaje ko come mo jamalo hani bi APRC Noto Alliance Fasaka. So ninga nying APRC Noto Alliance bondi Mama Kandeh nombal kono. What are we looking at? Is that something that we can judge?
Yeah, I mean, you can come as a range, it's a blue high man or the wrong yafo because near 105,000 sort of APRC Noto Alliance sembo sort of back. So let's say fango ni ko be GDC la moltala ni APRC Noto Alliance ya ke scale ka ya balance. Let's say we go half and half. You can look at Mama Kandeh without APRC Noto Alliance. As a tarano le 50,000 ma fango konole, as a tarano 45,000 ma fango konole. Well basic kenole. But because now mele karify APRC Noto Alliance kana Mama Kandeh ka mote o lonna no, but then inside you be in a broader perspective ko APRC Noto Alliance sembo dialale in 2021 wale yatina fana nambal nyintada isiada. But then ila ye nyin karo ke damen to baga fabe baro la fala mo nyanta ko jibe critically kadu not everything maleka for given that everything remaining constant but even within the NPP cool be mantara nyama je kibama di bojam bota jele ADDA Malik Kamara la mol bota jele there are other people who left the NPP alliance so wala boje obe mol talale mamala naje obe mol fanan sambala nan jele. So there'll be a little bit of balance. Obviously, Mama Molbejel Melata Mama la principles and everything. Mama Bedauda, irrespective of the political alliance with Barrow, I'm so will be carte file line Bedauda. But Molfana Mejel Omar Sise Nyaming Abotaje Nyame, there are people with principles. There are people menul Falealon if Ilatanako Bango be tag Bedament or Gambe Bedament or Kolbe Sangar and Kolbe Debtor and Kolbe Kolearim Bakel. Kuraula Carola Bejele, insecurity Bejele and Ajele Lungo issues menul kana even the gala protests and so on around corruption will mume bi jele me yalon ko mol bi je malef wo sifala so ni mama tata ko akata kala fi baro kan ko omare men fo nunjang the standard guide I mean for ko what has actually changed in the country may mama warrant to go akafo ko akata kafu baro lema but another thing falli mol man tara damen fo kan with IEC ndela faka je manan demanding Yajale in 2021, Barola 400 and something thousand votes, or 453,000 votes, or 450,000, whatever the numbers are actually. What are to cover more than absolute majority, more than half the percentage of all the votes. You understand? Kabria Fintita, people were still in Soko. How did a new political party came up with all these numbers? You might not doubt ko Baro win tale. A win another one vote itambita. But to have an overwhelming majority of outcome it is more than the rest of the opposition combined. I'm well doubtless. Doliafo is a protest vote, against UDP. Some people believe okay, Ninjan Dol nada, a lot of mixtures. But Baro went on to win. Now I see a recent mistake ye menke. They admit kabri ye vote ye data share after registration, your data share with political parties. Then they started posting the list at different constituencies. In other European call ko the data is missing. Ye men say I told you ye agree to menna. And then men findita nang man killing. I see man for propaganda lende. In other murungi told fang ko tonya leng ye mistake ko leke.
So when I kanje.
Memen chodika wolenko could there have yalon previous mistakes now validate already code IEC have been presenting numbers to us that were wrong from 1996 and 2016 kan dengo pole from pareda mantar dolaro ngamenke wolenko ye data me yalo ya made available to the public ngana ngawle scrutinize ngaje ko discounted were wrong.
So basically you are saying ko barolo numbal askeno mistake wala sorda
mistake was so no because right now
Cuba mantare moy kam ela voice be saki kan de ndala side de malon ya ninga ela voice be saki kan do mandingele Omar bawo ngere soto jang let me quickly ask you lafake inyinga menna signing mo jamal kam mem fo wole muko coming signing men GDC tata UDP fanang essentially in coalition la cool mantra dai akam doko silam talaketa basically dolo ko silang akam doko Gambia opposition la bandale do you see the same view ko probably this is the end for them, the opposition?
I don't think so. Analysis momenti from day one. Kabring Talib split for side from the UDP. Well, there could be three scenarios. Three scenarios, but scenario full and then all lemuta acts highly likely. Kilingo minti wale. Ni agara oppositional kambentano. Yaje opposition no like Kambengo, it doesn't matter whether party be jail million numbers or they don't have numbers. Legitimacy wala important. Yeah, the opposition no nada be kafuta iketa clinty. Wo be opposition no abe legitimacy dila opposition no la. Whether party do your numbers or not, it doesn't matter. So what I na nka for moleko minuka for Kandela ta NPP at an amount number samba. Nka for eleko. Sometimes in politics, numbers all can matter, but I manke all the time. Legitimacy for nan can matter. Because ning mo Jamal Fukita ye mo killing endos. Woka mo Jamal la mind change. Many of them they were sitting on the fence. Kafoko, look, what the party leaders will be katani ya. Ibo nfana nga kartu fire. That is possible. Already sitting fence or they are just waiting for a possible scenario. So, but in the election analysis, not scenario, love me explain na wale. Niatara baro lota, afang alota NPP with his parties, UDP lota, and they are able to get few opposition parties Puriana joinika. If I ila own coalition of form, a party led, which I think is a genuine argument from the UDP. I believe it's a genuine argument. For instance, UMC Fananata, ye part do lead, another part of coalition or parties lead. Then we have 3 candidates in December. A lot could happen before December, but also on election day, Kujamal Sekenole, and this include the possibility of Talib taking a good number of votes from NPP is very high, likely. And that does not translate to UDP. For me, I think UDP has a more steady shape than the NPP. This is not because the NPP is not a strong party, no, but I think this party has been here for over 30 years. And at least you can argue about their percentage going down after elections, but the numbers are still there. In the last election, I think they got over 200,000 votes. So the numbers are there. So UMC will not take as much as they will from UDP, as much as they will take from NPP. So in that scenario, if they take more votes,
there is a path to victory.
So ni wo mo sabol lota Talib Baro aning Usainu Dabo. So scenario me explain kan wala Talib e mol tala NPP like a Tambia be minu tala UDP. Wala mo na analysis oti. I might be that's my analysis. I might be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong now. So ni wo keta na more votes start from NPP. Then I NPP the vote so split kendake, especially in the provinces. So the possible scenario is UDP could win. That is possible. Highly likely the UDP could win. So, but in Nama Wokeno, and Kandeh and the rest that are coming are able to add numbers to the NPP, then that would make it more difficult for the opposition. So opposition are the only option and chance. Wale Bekela unite, killing. Wale Niman unite, they are lucky that UMC-led alliance, you vote Jamata from the NPP alliance.
But why do you think they are likely to take more votes from NPP and not UDP? For example, why NPP?
So the analysis J kukilin them. You know, numbers matter. Of course, we all know NPP means 2021. Numbers they matter, but party-less structural finance and ila performance over the past years. You can argue about the percentage, but the numbers are high. They are not going down. UDP in terms of numbers. You mean last election, well, let's see at the last election in Gambia in terms of hundreds. You can check the records. It's higher. So me because now believe Talib has, I think, bigger support apart from KM in the provinces, not Bank and other places. I can tell you that. I am
really?
from that place. I know. So I support Minnesota in the provinces. Maybe it's higher than Minnesota in West Coast and other places. I can predict that. Come not bank kata wo mafungola. I support Jamal Bondi. I don't want to mention variations on that maybe we focus. But in Alone, this is a fact. I support Jamal Bondi and Baro Jile Mala area provinces. Presidential election or like a jail dominate, like a jail call. So the other among Kono, among Taliban Bukenoji, then Baro will suffer in the provinces and they work better. And UDP are able to maintain their performance in the Combos and West Coast. They will have a very good chance of winning the election. They will have a prediction. But don't rule out UMC at all. Don't rule them out. Whatever alliance they are going to, because Talib, one thing about him, political momentum certainly. This is his momentum. Political momentum. But momentum in this part of the world is not also enough. It's not enough. Sometimes it's not about the winnable candidate. It's about the circumstances that prevail. Yeah. Taliban is also about the circumstances that prevail. And Gambia election and in the political like nature be nyaming come coming for it. Popular is not enough. Yeah, the dynamics will be jelly. In fact, it doesn't work. It doesn't.
But do you think coming Mama this new development, Mama Kandeh President Adama Barrow, do you think was an oppositional molu technical to force them to sit down and say, hey, Kolkata nyaming, Nimman so nyokang is gonna be, a waste of time. Do you see that likelihood of this coalition task force molu in UDP so nyokang, or do you think Kosilang akuntutale silang is just done, especially in light of Dabo comment Solomon for Kunu?
A bit difficult back because I think I'm observed from day one. UDP ila position is very clear. They have never meant their words. From day one, coming in the Wallen, it all Ijikita Min and Yemin believe Wallen as the biggest opposition party. It all they are only going to go for a party-led alliance. Coming for which I think is fair enough. For me, I think it's fair enough. Others will think otherwise, but for me, it's fair enough. You can argue about
what is your reasoning for thinking that UDP position is fair?
No, for me, one, they are right about the numbers. New party when it comes to numbers in the opposition, it's all the numbers on the Seattle. Go back to 2021. Go back to any other elections. UMC and others are coming. They are new in the system, but that is not to say they cannot lead any alliance. I'm not saying that they can, but UDP, Nico, if they insist on a party-led alliance, there's a reason why they are saying that. I think near Bankudol Jube, even in Africa, ya crossing, ya Jube party minuka alliance will lead. But for everywhere it's like that. But majority of countries will make alliance also the opposition alliance. Party jikita minna wale numbers all shut up. Ikata wale join. Even in Senegal, there is an election in Senegal. They did not join Pastef. They did not join Jomai because Pastef was a new or old party. They joined because they believe at the time Pastef has the numbers. It was not about the candidate. Because candidate Onying was Sonko all along.
Yeah.
Sonko was the candidate. He was the preferred candidate all along. He basically didn't Sonko level. But he coming Sonko botaje because he alone Pastef numbers all the way. He go about Pastef join. Because be oppositional tonya na tonya for nyoye. Ya sometimes kana la fi molie ku kendo fo ila koto wala molie jey yewuli yafo amanja tonya for draw reality. The reality is UDP is the biggest opposition party. Whether you like it or not, that is the reality. It's the biggest opposition party. So niatara it left a chain. The easiest chain based on any agreement because niatara it left a falling one banko e falling. And here UDP Jube, here structure Jube from Dabo down, here experience of Jube Nimbeji. The machinery that is there, they have the capabilities. They have people who are capable of leading this country. Yeah, Jube, you believe that these people, they have the machinery. I see no reason, with your party, whether big or small, in UDP, the Siran or Tabuloka, Aliye Kacha, in the interest of this country, Aliya Jube, Albe Benano Nyaming, ali UDP tambindi ali bag ali ajube mi nabekel. Because in the name of opportunity sort of they have never had that opportunity. From 96 to date, in the name of overwhelming opposition backing sort. If you don't have the backing, how can you win? It's not possible. Now split a more tata jana. You know, incumbent will always have the chance to win. But ni basic be la defense or landings aside, iko tonya na tonya for you. We might not agree with them on everything, but the UDP numbers also. Why not we join? Najube, we give them that final chance this year. Najube for all the Falina. Let me give UDP that chance this year. Najube for different particular because they have never tried it. They have never tried it. The only time we had tried was 2016, and that was an alliance led. And that was, nobody was talking about popular candidate at the time because it was not necessary. Because every Gambian wanted that. Gambian always left no more opposition only. It doesn't matter who he is. Having the Lord and as opposition candidate, we win.
Okay. But Silvo, I will bring you in. Omar made a very strong case for why UDP, in his estimation, UDP la nyanta tambila, comme membe jamuta din Jamal Bulu, UDP la nombal siata, ako kaka kenyamen bla ko tengolto, ñu nyanda le ñine la difference la, ye UDP tambi kukan ko to lel siata. Bari dolu fananka mem fo siada mamang enough. Ese sia nole, bari la sia coming over the years among siata UDP siata nyanya, ela sia among state house sima. So Jamal membe mutari bulu wala muko it's not imam problème soto pour ye bambu UDP ko but problème men wala mu UDP men tambindi ela jiko men wala muko amari memula useno dabodi ay sira on nyile sanji jama ama soto so ni atambindi koteke si ata nyama ite gagner la koteke ite la response mu muneti woro
Vale abarka bake thank you so much Omar and this is what I know you of. You know, you someone may alonko, you are a professional, and you know we can have agree on issues, disagree on issues, but one thing remains factual is you are a very good journalist in this country. Vali ye mem foteng, Omar ye mem fo nyinam tonyati. Yaje 2016, Gambia be ko banko batata. Gambia be ko mfutata tembe me alonko nim man kafu nyoma. Nanyim banko bondi wallahi be duna toro lako wala Gambia be sondi nyoma e kafuta nyoma ano ya Omar le ala diamo hayata nan kabu damento kana ay tariko wala fujang tariko me yalonko dindi mo me yalonko mibi sayna be dun kam politiko ko sayna be karto fer ko pra ay ñil lom this is an opportunity me yalonko I mean, it's the only opportunity it can help us to change this country. 2016, when the opportunity in Kabranata, Gambia Beke Kilometer. One of the worst dictators, Dunia Beko, Koliata back, Nafulo Babul, Fomo Be Babul. Namuta Najindi. Mina Kafuta Yoma Najindi. Kafuta Yoma.
But it's for me, Foka Wolabugo, Kafunyo Kango. O manke problemo di because pati ko tangol prede la pour kafunyo kan oyege you know wo simfal tamata bari ka même fo wole muko nimbe kafula nyoma fanan nse mo tombong me alon ko nga jiko sotoko gambianol se karto diala e do kam même fo wole muko
okay I understand your point I understand your point very well okay Bali let me tell you something here nde I always believe in this and be convinced 100% Kavugo nyim banko kanjang ning election soto election me alon ko usenda bo boyta je election nyim banko kanjang at the time election killing I have that strong conviction and
no but alon carte fay jamal la ma ngagné what are you talking about
no mbal ngam même fay wala ñun diko carte fayol mel ya alon ko alkefote alon moli people need to be very honest the same gambeno le kafo janko wo carte fayol mel tambita jang e man killing mo kilul mel kawfo mo kilomel sanji jele be ba fokanko ya jembele wato jang karde fayo buka tilim mo jello fo jang anu wo karde fayo la tilim balia wala ya tinna na keloke fo ngo sport counting fale this is something man ko benyata camera ni ta kalo ka mo lekol da bu ga gagner But sir, you fight for something me alongo. Kabring aleo kemuli o kita mo menna. UDP party o melondi aleo ganyan. Eka mo ko Dabo go ganyan. Dabo is always winning, and the same thing ganyan na for wolo nyundo 2021. Mfalli Dabo le kato winning banko kanjang, and I still 100% believe in that. Ni asara aluma mo nyase findino ay Qur'ano ta ay kali. Wallahi azim. Abe fintila abe kala ba folo ha Dabo kato winjang ninta free and fair election la banko kanja mfal nganyim banko be murumun si nyaaja ma nim banko mul ka kacha dawta tata yebe UDP tar laje dawta tata je ba tata ko jamamu UDP la
but sirfo yalo
Dabo win and again
no lafta mem ko dorong wala lafta mem ko
mo ka fuko Dabo is not electable no
So lafta
let me tell you something funny.
Sorry na diamol be selega nyokane ni senso domandi ngani nyinin karo tambindi lafta mem fola wala mu ko carte fo ketale I know UDP carte wolu kondita nyameng anin carte fo kete nyama me ngomuta UDP ya ko tamale bari ngajele kuma na boje I know coming it went to the Supreme Court amanta because of a technicality but we have not really seen anything conclusive men site and no more lako kartoni ya nakarle at least from an official point of view but ila fa ke nyininga menna nyin coalition task force committee nyin katakol men dati teng UDP dabe UDP dabe katakol men kono so munat na UDP mansong candidate letla ni UDP at committee kam men fo darajo mbe UDP la munat na mansong ye candidate kilin nominate ya tambindi eni mo ko tengol flag biara ni opposition coalition task force committee ni kono why muna na UDP manson koke
because of the past experience and that experience ni amanda Gambia dama and this is what people need to understand.
What is that party experience specifically?
Party led coalition candidate led coalition. Candidate-led coalition on Banko Kanjang 2016 ne wala ke na motombong amari boda political party olto ngaya ko ibe resign na yebo la party olto a resign da boda la party olto alora as independent candidate Gambian ko le carte of fire at the end of it what happened bi wo mari na la function political party olto nyim Banko Kanjang. So what are we telling Gambians? But ni mi re fanan ko tenke not only about Gambia, Senegal and Omar ya do mon no fajan Senegal ya jibe I mean, Jamai Faye is from a political party, and we all know the momentum the political party Jamai Faye is from. We all know the momentum they have. We know the momentum they have. And the Najibe Bibila in the parliament, the party it came from dominated the parliament. So Jamai Faye Tayaki independent candidate. What happened now? Jamai have to, Jamai Pastor Bula. And that is what is causing problem in Senegal today. So basically, after all this experience, we've all seen it. We all seen this clear evidence. All of us, candidate-led coalition, so at the end of it, you want to convince people to get into that, then you are not thinking about governance. Because that candidate-led coalition, every one of us come together to build a government, and one individual person hijacked the government from the masses. Mobe kapta nyoma, yemansa kundalo, mo kunkilo, atelo ayo mansa kundata a hijack. I am the akatar, I function political party yolo, I state powers more sembo, I use, I state powers use ka karsefeuda ka nakari banko kan. And you people are telling us we have to get back to the same thing. We are not going to do that. Because look, why ndol konto kela? Because remember election is about the masses. Election is about badola almelialonko be wulokono. It's not about electing somebody to be there to enrich himself. Ndol konto wole kela. Ndol ko political party o, niya ko political party o nyatonko yake. Niya nanyim believe sito nyundo because political party o wole multi, wole mbama me yalonko be farokono. Mfama me yalon ka be kunko kono ndoko ma me yalon ka be karambungoto nabro me yalon ka be football play kan ani mama me yalon ka be siri marso da be wafirola wolle le political party yo lo wolle le mu county ni ko be mo kilin tombon na this mean ko itebe mo kilo wala sementu yaka on kon tol tawole kala ndol ko mol la feon mol lafta mennam tol bawle kala wala tinan ko ndol lata ko United Democratic Party, we have the numbers, and we look at the risks, the disadvantage of getting into this party, candidate-led coalitions. There is a lot of
membe mutare mol fanambulu wole muko. Okay, UDP committee ka memfo dalil sahari ngol setral bulu. Bari mem fana mutunya wole muko ning opposition lu mansono nyokan signing. Iko is game over. Come Maimuna Sise ya nyame. It's game over. So saying you know, what is the way forward now? Ni UDP lo da fay ñindol fana lo de fay baro e gagner then wo banko na fala munela e kany mol men fo mol min yalon ko
one thing
politiko ñanda ko wolel na fa
one thing I can tell you mfalli me ko maklim fole ça fait inshallah ñin carte fay o men kana 2026 on the 5th of December United Democratic Party will ba win. This is something I want you to write. Left yasefe. Mpalli nyalen ko ko wala ba wi ni membe be keri wuro be keri kunkili wuro be keri. Banko be wuro man tar keri. Wala nyinti ko. Mpalli nanyim banko be murumurun. Nim banko dingul kacada banta balto, nim banko dingul kacada kungolto, nim banko dingul
kacada politicien ol be ka wala foye. E be ka wala foye. Ni talib la mo ñinin ka wala foye ko ha. La Gambia yayle Ibrahima Diba said exactly comme même fo. Bringa Gambia yaay ngalla moy molale moluko ha. La talib Ahmed Ben Soudal.
But we man can toliti. Mpali, let me tell you something and I want to tell you this. Ya Allah moy ay koy ay Sénégal. I'm a politician. You hate me or you like me. I am a politician. I'm a politician. Young Kong, Elafitana, the politician and doom. Ndala political konomboka faniafo. Mfali mbesi la social media kono. Sanji jelu mbedi mukang. Nafani ajumalafo. Na memfo. Alonko na study la senata mwala na nafo. Let me tell you something, and this is something Gambian will let you take a melon. Mo kana tulu mo hakilo la jang. Ntara election oral. 2016 election okita nyim banko kanjane. The total number of votes may karto fay ni abe kap nyokang amantambi wul kemelu talula in 2016 amantambi wul kemelu talula moment be karto fay banko kanjang. Ntara 2021 e ka fo mo leko mo wul keme kononto anin feng wala be nyim banko kam pour que register ba ali la mo jande karto fay dañim banko kan jang atol ko president Adama Barrow wul keme nan nim fenne soto atol le af ay sikilo le af akada 2021 ndara 2022 ndara parliamentary electional wala député carte fayot Kabrin tara député carte fayol nyim banko kan jumale di highest number so the popular vote jumala la carte so jumala carte di banko be kan UDP la carte siata Adama Barrow carte fayol abe kale no nyaadi le ite boran nan kabrin wuli keme nan tallulu ite bonan kabrin woto ite jinam fo wuli keme tallulu nim feng me ya lon ko ite ko ite wala buute wotata fo wuli keme fula ndata council election fana ko tanki ite ko te même buude ton ndata council election fana o fana amuta ko tanga ay buude ko tan ndata kiamon election ko tanga amuta ko tanga ay buude banko be kan ite ko ite so political party ite so winno nyim banko kam bitam bo men kon annu be buude kan wato me yalon ka be buude kan wutumo ko be senare nyamin anen bi ko be senare nyama man kili abe buude kan wato men wutumo ko mon kolya ko bi ko be kolya nyame so this is something me am falli nka ko banku dewol ya lonne membe keri ngo ite me ya lonko bi ibe pagle ibe be jone president marokan o de me ya lonko bi ite sonna banku dewol e kafu kilinge nyokan ko let me tell you something mbajo ma anim binkindi nim binkindi ya lonne jumala lefta bankola nin jumala ma lefta bankola mbajo ma nim binkindi ya lonne jumala be kungoto na fe kun adama dum me ya lonko ite be kungo le fe ikalla ba nyaadile wala ya tina bi ibe politician do jile be jumping nako jumping laito kunu ya kuma kama memfo anen bibe kuma kama memfo kata kilina o mu foro ya
Okay.
di bang
Okay. Okay. Siri fo saying laftale because yen number so lel fo jang ngamo soto jenne me alanko number so lel mo watala dokori politiko la karola mengira tuba maruti ko ngafo nyamin politiko carte fayo kontiro ko ay wala karang ala master's dissertation thesis abedendi wala Gambia la carte fayo lu menu tambita molo ka karto fay nyamen wo control ni anin ku ko tangol men yalan ko lelbe dendi wala so tuba la fakire nyinin ka menna we were talking about Mama Kandeh number solo comme as la faro menkeno president Adama Barrow la nying political campaign to warate la faro menkeno la je dolu ko Mama Kandeh abe dare jare ne hanbi ba comme ngafa nyamen Gambia la carte fayo is force past the post ning haniye modan carte kese kilina la dron you know ise gagné no le ise president ya ta no le so la fa ke nyini nga men Mama Kandeh sembo abe fata fatare nyaadi le Gambia banko kan ase Barrow la fano mintole aning asa talano mintole in terms of nyin carte fayo me alon kon kanabula wala kono GDC la sembo be tembe da jumala to and how can that help Barrow winning or not winning next election?
Yes, Mfali, thank you very much. Abarakabake. So initially, before I cut off, I was talking about a similar point called Barrow. So I will put in a summary called Barrow could gain as much as he lost. Yes, because Barrow has to make up for more menul botabulu. Keba mari bota kombole, kombo mu dalde me alonko is sembo soto back mol si adeje and na fintida all the time at other rally you could see the people following him. Tabora Mane Nyol will obviously Mafo will botabule, but all these people ye mol sotole. The nena the guy Mr. Kamara Male Kamara na mol fanang ibenu NPP ganneto will fana mume na buje. Ina Mama Kandeh jibe obviously in 2016 Mama Kandeh have 89,768 I will sort of vote to. Then in 2021 105,000 I will sort of in 2021 1 second 105,902 I will sort of, but there was an APRC Nodo Alliance will that can APRC Nodo Alliance it make a small victory in Gambian elections ila mulsi at the back. So alata nyindulato there are already people made along ko be GDC Eman Songala and then Kujama left and be Banko kan. So I feel like it will be a little bit of a balance and we have to study the status quo as cool bitaga nyame kata December kan karimen kanala kata fujani nomination obekela mose political climate ni study ya jibi but science and inte bafala mbe wala Barrow could gain as much as he lost moja malle botabulu ni mama na ta baske no mama la mol fana ani menul bina wal be udula nyene sukila mel bota Barrow bulu but I see the mistakes in the past wofen and people have to think around that end. Recently, IEC admitting ko tonya ye data menta ya post mole ko wale kata registration di it only sort out also the and amake moklenda manke fulati these are thousands of numbers. Could it have been co in 22? Because this is the first time IEC have been put to a real test co. We are going to challenge you. Political parties are ready. UDP at the forefront of it. It will fit the bag. Kite and IEC registration, everything. They demand all the numbers. IEC baka balang. Ini committee no minul soro kareba the conference center. You know, nyo sabajamal kakeje. You know, nyo kono to dial fanan kakeje. But another itan the mol bila ko tonya. Mol kami for IEC ka mistake ka IEC forman na balan no. It is data the political party la to me malo for incompetence lemba for taunte ya lemba kadung printing yefengo print from a machine then it bit or tampla you have a database you might verify code these are the numbers that we have printed emo verify it ayo tam then political parties and aje go so that also dajan atole thousands led in dollar nkananka hundreds tarajang what happened al narava we had a mistake in our printing.
So what you're saying is pretty serious. Like, ibem foka wole muko tumando baro na karte wolo fainya IEC la nyamen commando. Maybe it is not like that. Amandara we nyama. E ka mistake la control la Carola. Ani yir karodo.
Yelanu nyamen kapo 96 la kana 2016 amandara we nyama. What's about it?
Really?
Yes. What's about it? I've said that all the time. It will form a balawala. I see from Sonda wala loko mistake also to bulle. Wala nankweko. Even President Barrow in 2016 sat on a scale as a president at a scale where he actually was not at. Because control ni yalo IC na refin lako mistake also that. Sa ye president o project damento mafa ma ganyede, but yeah project number mento because he's first past the post. The numbers that he has been projected at, and he won, and then he went to State House. Nina ati yirka rota ya senkan kuke kaje ko Sotaro also daje. Ane ataral ko the difference would not have made
non la
Jammeh
fakke
won
nyini ga wala
elections.
so comme e ka mistake ko ni la comme ka men fo sutaro soto kontrolo to nyaming it was fo mu fenati ba mense mola wino buy no bang comme misal fe baro o ya jambe isa fo no men nako okay ay si la nyin control mistake ko tumando bato wala ya gagnendi tumando bato ni ngata ya konti kunu maybe amarete gagnela is it that serious or is it coming mistake nding kanya ndingol lenteng
It was serious. So akono fanotana. It was serious, but at mole ngamen found from there, or it ngamen je ila mistake on nyendo was not enough to make a difference. However,
okay
askeno because mistake was sototale kulle fanambe duma mamelje because in the first place mistakes must be avoided at all costs. You cannot count and there are mistakes. Momo men soto wole nyanda ka count wole nyanda ka safe wole nyanda ka diala. But kabo 96 kanana nimol kawo je wole mbaflal ko electional buka fair no kabo 96 kanana but 96 the next 5 years you come to 2001 2006 2011 2016 abibuka fair could it have been ko more BJM Alonko he has been winning but have not been getting the votes? Basically, no. But 2021, the scale Barrow and number mills are 457,519. Mafama win, but it is a lot of numbers. Well, I was here, challenge Natake. Obviously, UDPA a court case filer for technicalities, but who really knows what happened? I do know who the machine have recorded data outside the registration process period. So the normal registration period, there were registrations according to their data, which were outside the deadline.
Okay, so tuba just pour mole ya faham. So nying ay sila nying mistake ul wara komeng karte fayolo karola mulka sunyarul menfo. How would possible no la nyadile? Komeng molel kana ye karto fay bang menu mantra system o kono bang fo iko komeng ika karto di molel la meni alon ko imanyan na so la how mistakes si fa se keno nyadile wosi keno nyadile IEC bulo comme ani nyi mol kanyin al sunyar allegational menfo. How is that possible? Because those have no logo ni momo e karte kaito soto ito better la system o kono le edita e karto fay no whether it mantra system or IEC check. What mistakes if false sort no nyadi? Can you give us examples?
Yes, me example men dile la wolenko men sabatita recently science musa karano men wala in 2026 kabring ya voter list print out ya samba bakau one of the constituencies ya post European Coltar I think Mama Kuran ne fango diamutano ako ICJ force data being confirmed to all political parties. We went to the constituency center to look at the printouts. Near count is way less. Well, say it have IC and number sort of parade, but Yemendi Molla was not enough. At the back in thousands. Now, needed a Fayola. Yemen print Walka or GB. The people sitting there does not have the database. If you told Jubela, Nina Karefa need to data file. You understand? Need to data file.
So nying baka problemo maybe itela understand katambindedi. So menketa just correct me if I am wrong. Molu menu tata dinkiral to register damendo misal fe baka kono. I register IEC ko ala registration so parete carte kaito dila. Yalo nin carte keso dio botala e kanale carte odin molu men la yewol toluta ye tambu. So muneketa comme ye menu tambu be ye carte odi men na wollel to mantara listo do bam fo. Menu ye karto di menna ye molle la fawolu kan. What happened there in Bakau?
So sai atalatal. Ye karte di mella mal la fa ya talal bari Bakau jube Bakau is a strong opposition hole. Bakau almost strong opposition hole, especially the UDP. So near tala it means ko maybe strong opposition holes be damage to take all the number tala in the sense ko ni tare in platon njigita jande ganyela jande. But because these numbers have been reduced and marginalized, then we are weakening the opposition. So na itola incumbency nyembe sembo di kala. Ma for wala kita but abari IEC fango report to standard and they admit there have been mistakes. Yalon te time on bella mo could IEC come out and say it's not true then bafla ko political party be propaganda la. But when they came out to say it is true ko itole sota ro sodole. Budung diamo nyimbanda woldo. So say wala nunko in 2021 there were registrations outside the deadline. They admit to that. It could be machine error, it could be anything, but so long, it all they are the institution, they are once mandated to do the work, when mistake come back like IEC. Like, could 2021 be in such a situation as well? Who knows? Momalo. So all the numbers were just overwhelmingly so much to a scale that you are like, but what is happening? ma fa ketal but because ni mistake
Okay.
do na ta finte alan kenemata mo sa fu no
Foi sondala, yes. Kudo se tarano jele mo
kudo se
mello.
tarano je mamello but 2016
Okay.
kada ko ma
Okay.
mo le ku jamal jemel yalan ko man keno so IEC do ko be bulle
So Tuba, I want us to look at saying move from IEC. I think Elani explanation is very helpful. I don't know. I know you don't have a lot of time, but GDC NPP la so jibe and talk about it in practical sense, mathematically, as a mono wulu no ana politic kunda nyinkate fay na lan kono. Sa la fake nyininga menna. Mo jamalu ñin membe bul wala mako okay GDC ta ranka mo be ñinin ka ñina mbere ñinin ka la bawo kontro ko weta ka mama wala to GDC ta saying UDP fanam bota ñing coalition kacha kono UDP la bo aning GDC la bo mathematically ni nata control karola nin ñim parti ba fulolu bota kataku kono wala sonyo kan ku kono wobe opposition sonyo kan batandi la nyadile. Basically what I'm saying is how does it the opposition arithmetic change with UDP leaving and GDC also going for any political party da mangol men yalan ko lelbe so kan nyokan teng without UDP in GDC fo se kuduten wala bang itala miroro
opposition la hamen ko what would I know their intention remains the same new bridge GDC leaving and UDP also leaving wo ye coalition burukale coalition tije kotenka tinyata along
but why would you say that though? We have still Estafal Bejele, Talib Ahmed Bensouda Bejele.
There is a coalition of substance and a coalition of a mere coalition. Obviously, ni koibe Talib ning Estafal la nyoka Talib never competed. Estafal is 17,000 sort of from his last encounter. That could be seen as a mere coalition. The biggest factors in coalition talk would be UDP number one, followed by GDC. GDC tada NPP Kambewole Jekam. UDP quitted out already. I don't think Talib ni Esa wal mo flol be d'accord la jumale be tambila mo ñoo ñaatu foning ayatara IEC modo reject nomination do lato de na manke wodi wo mo flol it will be difficult especially for Esa to be led by Talib. I don't know if Talib will agree to an Esa led coalition, but I don't see it the other way around. So I don't think that's going to work.
That's an interesting take. Ila miro to wolte sono la nyokang ta
atekelano mbeje senandi la fandomande mfali May Talib won the UDP he wants to be president because our primary is lost. You can't lose a UDP primary and come and you are now led by APPA. So I don't think Abisonol. The other way around too, Asa has been adamant that he wants to lead the coalition. So there is no way at a novice, like in that way, a newbie in politics in presidential elections like Talib, he would allow to be led by that. So it's just a no-go. It's just like UDP is also stand controllers here. There's no way we are going to negotiate anything here. It all data because it's just wasting their time. And Mama Cisco, if he's not going to lead, it's better brighter Baroque and whatever their agreements are, it will soon come to light. So that's how things are.
So in terms of Ning opposition party Lula, Ning alliance building coalition, which other moves do you foresee? Ye parti jumal je isa phénomène la ko janning mbafla carte fayo ise so nyokan could we see esa fala ita so UDP gang for example
asotora isa la mol konole mel ka faye ko esa ka mamam ko mel in politics asudiara UDP than any other thing. Esa is a justice person, is a lawyer. Niamo UDP budo ibe loyal let of lord ya mala mola loyal si ara mel tamre UDP la ka foti. Esa ka mama tilimbal kuol melon tilimbal ya kuol injustice Gambia niamo tilimbal ya in the past regime sembo tilimbal ya mel la European kol ka mala modoka esa la TRRC me esa farmans in the Gambia European kol le barata je ba ke testimony fango itolle siare je itolle fanan na wule ka esa sika santo ka diama la kuola so ala kuol dal except for his atela lafo kata president yala where the UDP also want to lead nabara would lade ila kungol tagita nyola wolto but nabara wala fengo fe esa laftala ese utarno UDP kono so ning is molbe esa mel lafta esa ka fu UDP ma esa ma lafu wala bari asekeno And so no lede, even though is very slim, it will be soniala katambi talibi moro UDP. Ni wakata obakala osekretari la mole sa tanya to senko mode because kabri finta je kumol mel be fota nung ani membe be foka pro talibi moro ko mako tankara UDP moje. But esa ana UDP la classes mala yo be siake so ati sitano jele but majede mawo fanan jede moje but nin jero be kala lambati la sutiyandela. So a lot of twists can happen, but one thing is for certain: UDP is not going to negotiate any second seat to anybody in the Gambia, not even Barrow. UDP does not. Not even Barrow can convince UDP to join them. Ni UDP ne afo ye bafla in nana unkwete bora janet jamu fast world UDP ka wala fay. UDP lo be lore wala kanko sembo be bulle mol be bulu. So if there has to be an amalgamation, atole bina enrollment taratal and dalilol be bulle menul koyta chairmanol be bulle mayol be bulu councilol be bulu national assembly be bulu, and we have seen they are the only party in the Gambia who have consistently scored a minimum of 100,000 votes from 1996 to date. It all nanda baka dasawala it out of a willy kemefula will tansaba anin say yawo fanam be soro janne. So simbo membe bula siada bakela, their grassroots is very strong. Mol fanam mel be bulu melialongo, they are very deep in their principles and commitment to safeguarding the Gambia. So walatina niko ni itara ini UDP takita nyola drong itakatale ni tol finta na kamera ko moma finti je folo ibele beje. So it all cool nyimbo wala nyama, and then wala nanka ma pamodu bojanka for Chinese population, if that is a good definition for them. But we have a very interesting political landscape in the Gambia towards the December 2026 elections. Until kachafo be diala dame ni nomination o tamida mbenga alon ko nyolle mum birolti wato kacha analysis dia bari science diamo be siare malum mine binakela baro fang dol kati ronna maybe maba tata je wala kam ayna mama ina tambi, because na mama tambi da baro will still be a man of two terms like the term limits, and then but corruption will till malian milketa la watula and nafulola janjango ni filol milketa skeno, so mama ina ate the commission lola will be sa tamano nan, so moma long ilanyang agreement ko na mine ba mabe mine wulula.
Okay. Thank you, Tuba. Omar, mbadingolu at this point kal hakilo bandron ko aldim Bitilo lemu. Atol membe moy kan radio to Gambia, albe moy kan Vibes FM le 106.1 FM. Atol membe njibe kan blal to internet to aldim Bitilo lemu men studia ramo wuli kilingola nga wollel sore ben njibe kan live YouTube nim Facebook. Ngal beje ngal tentu ale wato menta ka kafuma mba flale ko bawo ngal soto jam al se subscribe na Bitilo channel do sakon na Facebook al ko subscribe nyameng, you know, al kam wakilindi wala nyama men siata mo wuli mo nin kilinti wala subscribe na Facebook odo ngale jayi alla fasaro kam bari hanibi mbal wakilinda drong al se tenteng na statistics ole me yitandi na analytics sol duma mol men be kan jibe jamal be je mol me alon koy man subscribe you know ikajele karo konon kam mo men nan kam sodo kana Bitilo to jaka siya mo wuli taworo wala nin sabati bari mo wuli taworo wala nin sabo kara kilimo jama be je they are not subscribers to the channel. Bari mbal be dan la si subscribe ale waru dal subscribe ta nyameng aka ko janjang wala nyama gandu mo fanan ka soro wala nyama. Omar la fakere nyinin ka menna is the same question nga Tuba nyinin ka menna wala mu saying janning carte fa wato tema. Should we foresee other alliances and coalition may yille madamento comme ngay may yilla ko menela ngaji ko mo ko to ngole so nyokan wara dole bo nyoko be misalo ta ka menna misal fe ngaji APP sobe ya esa fal afuko okay sa nga kolje nyame akam dago silande ngata so UDP go wara talib ya afuko, even though Talib's case is very very unlikely, but I think of what remains of the other coalition task force mole esa fal le manin Talib, they are the most significant figures there, you know, with no disrespect to the rest. But where should we expect a coalition or an alliance from other quarters that are unexpected, like a potential SFL joining UDP? You know, should we expect any surprises basically in all of in terms of coalition and alliance? Janin kate for your tema.
Ndeka kuolje nyaming falle kana possibility of having coalition saba from kana rule out come alliance saba in the opposition kana rule out come ila colleague will be wrong about maybe Talib la camp and in SFL la camp, for instance. So let's say ni atara wo move from the doko kelano and already ngalonne the koleala le pour UMC ni UDP doko, because then who will allow the other to lead. Who already among feasible. Who is a predict no like at a work. So signing Esa Manta join UDP. So yeah, expect like a condemn at the own alliance. Then you have a UDP alliance, Esa Fal and other parties, and then maybe you have Talib and other parties. And opposition of Farala Sabalti. But new scenario finance falling no. Depending on Kachal Minibekela Jending September, because it's important that coalition or understand time is not on their side. Time is going. And they wo qualify in the jahal back opposition on la coalition quarter because they fe ni atara opposition on la kachabe kake alliance droneti. There is no tangible discussion about Ninganyeta Munibekela.
And in the state of affairs, because the message
what are we going to do? Because usually Nalmo agenda soto ready, made a belaringe, Nal winter drone, no sabole kana, and Oleka Janjamosa. So I'm sure Alliance will flow be with Kachala, Momang Mantra J follow, me along a tangible program will sort of, the Alliance will come Gambia falling Nanyan. Atije. And the Nima Soto written. Ya for Gambian only long. We understand Mimbeji, ni win the cotton kilo, no sabole bekelare. Mimbe nunji will continue. And wo change sifa Gambian on fan la. But there is also a possibility of Iba Rumokan of Barrow Pura Modo Tandindi. Obe Kachakan, Moba Fokan. Moba Fani told from la Parambali and Dolbekat, Nindol Kakachale Kafale. There is that possibility. Ko Asimodo Tamin. Because all ya Rumodune, QTV La Mano, Mohamed Jah, after Wodia Musiata, but there are rumors from a Modobe Jemialo, Barot of Tatan Tamindela at the last minute, who were NPP la candidate. So I'm Jumala Bekela would before Bekelale. Because new often anketa, often as a political dynamic will be changed. You never know.
Yeah.
You can't tell us what they know. But whether I Bekelale Malo, but it's been rumored. And you talk to many people, many along, they know about it, they will tell you. It's been rumored. So scenario Jamal let's change January December. But no more people, especially with the opposition, they have to do it now. Because Barrow, I think he is the incumbent. I think he has all the time. He has the resources and the machinery, and he can pull a trigger at any time. Just like he did with Mama Kandeh. He can do that ahead of December at any time. He can get anybody before December. You never know. You can't tell.
But yes. For you never know. I say Momo sort of know. But do you foresee somebody like Esafal joining Barrow? You never know, because
that would be very difficult.
Mama Kandeh kuma men for about Barrow.
Exactly.
For la bon like ikalafika bula nyoko mola be walel felenting there dining.
You never know.
The same thing, Dr. Cisse
Exactly, you never know.
So you never know. Come mole mem for nyamumori olem political. Nobody knows. School be la bulomento.
But I think in the final analysis, Fali, based on the current situation, Kolbeta and Nyami, Namang Falik, I think Barrow has a strong chance of winning. In Coleman Falik. Opposition or in fact, you will realize, and the earlier the better. You realize go Tonya need to split the bucket. Need split the bucket to 1, 2, 3 alliances, within the opposition. They will find it really very difficult. I can tell you that.
But Omar Janimbe Bulala, mo Jamal kam mem fanam fo. I know you have a lot to do. I'm really sorry for keeping you waiting. Mo Jamal kam mem fo. Barrow with or without coalition, he has done enough. I silo lulole. I salo lulole. Kurangola, even though Kurang more stable ke bari, I Kurang futa ndubla to la mang futa demenudo. So there are people men ko with or without these coalitions. Barrow on his own merit, based on that fongo document kala mansakunda, as a ganye no wakande. Fede mang imo jebang.
Yalong Fale, you live in the United States, in America. Yalong political awareness bimbeje compared to Gambia is no match, right? The US election of Kovale in 2024. Ngamoile voter soul ila argument soul movement it was not about infrastructure. It was not about roads. It was not about airports. Baro ni tata o area to infrastructure, roads, and health centers. He's doing well in those areas. You know, give the people his due. But the reality is, for neither tata lopitano, hospital or lopitano, whether they are beautiful or not, for neither tata je is sula attention on minna ikaso to jeleba. Well, I'm good question not health side. Neither tata lopitano to be the first thing. Near check for paper. What do you you checking door, you can no not. Ni futa direct. Doctor all it all from like a pharmacy no choosy or a private clinic no choosy. Ya for a touch that didn't test all kid. It all from like a for a taggy. Get taggy, it can mean Joji, or like a tambi can mean Joe, look, dollar lapitano. So, building all the jail, structure all the jail, but for canning the jail. Building after ID card for new. Like in Rwanda and other countries. For new leader lunkilim full is a time where ID card also. Honey, these are services. Ning services all wole mol sula bake katami all meet. Economy salary ben nyadile. Domodi fengol Marcel to ila price all ben nyadile. So more can jine kumbo. Government la policy ikaminu implement ibe nyadile. Just recently, road clearing policy ya wale bulindi do itata e mol be clear siloka da Gambia bi yemuru wo silol kan mol clear dami ya jube je be nyame ye modol bondije dol murunde so wo mum policy fault so banza kundala nyim policy wole matter that it's not just about infrastructure, roads and all these things. No, well they are very important, but also more than needs soul, health, economy, salary, food, and other things, services.
And security also is one challenge for people.
And when you call be, not because the machinery is not there. Government need after passport because people will go to immigration on the same day they will pay immigration officers. The following day they will have their passport. If you go through the normal channels, it takes you 1 month to get your passport. So it's not because system of TJ purka working, but more lebeje mini yala imam pare ka system of working. But ni wol beje imam pare system of working like jumala nyanta wol holla into account the system of working. Now I mean appointment. So more ka kumbo nyinala. This is the cry. Rice importation, there is free taxes on it. Oil, all food commodities, free importation. Government jube the amount of money they are subsidizing on fuel. Millions. But for war, abe Gambian all affect kan ne bam. Fontol me nafa je kan go to le bam. Hani. Mani bodo abe je kan ne yes, true. But government ka subsidy min bindi wodulato. Mani bodo nyanta gena jila. Recently tata Marseto futata nga wafula, subu wafula. No, immediately after the press. Ndada Marseto nga subu wafula taraje mo killing wolumo bako de Marseto. Atele be wafula je. Ate mo killing. Modol wotu wo man say na. Akwanya ko nga subu la fale. Na $50 ilaje. Nkai ko what is your reason? Akwanya ko don leta de man na fulo la na la fande do ne meja. So when nembe mansakunda soto la nimbe wo idea soto. It's not about control. It's about ila mold, because you have to think of your people. We cannot do anything about the market. Mansakunda should be able to do something about everything. At least they have to try. Policy level, new policy dundi. National Assembly ya pass. Hani ni man control, but at least regulations. Ni moye price or la fanyanda justify them. There has to be justification. In Senegal, they send people to markets. They compel them to do certain things. Miyalong is acceptable. So there is a lot to talk about this country. Miyalong, it has fallen off forum killing. But Gambian all nyanta realize leko nyim banko wala warata Daboti, wala warata Baroti, wala warata any other person di mi yalo ngabe nyim banko nyinika. Nyanta min kela wala na hakilol tenkundi. Na lonko nyanta decision min kela in December. We have to do it in the interest of this country. Nimake ba regret la.
Baraka Bake, Omar, thank you very much indeed. Sirifo lafake nyininga menna purka kacha nyinda ka kumfa lafake nyininga menna UDP silang nying coalition task force katakuo kono, is this it? Alial kodi kacha nyinna la bantala ferembang, or is there any chance ko maybe I'll say nyomo enole kodo la kwa so nyoka waikeba?
Yeah, Vale abaraka bake ila o nyinin karo nyin akumada bake UDP la parti nyaton ko même alaji Ousainou ANN Daboti anin kibarat ka kibatala kachatale and I mentioned the kibatala la wolbe UDP bulu wolbe nyintu ko coalition kachame alongo ADD la initiate ko coalition kachanye UDP boto konole and parti o tandiro ko la fan ka tandiko itol fon saying it be function coalition kachakela
we've lost Sirifo for a Sirifo la jele ngamira maybe for network call and Bamala, I'm not sure. For more fanamba call kambang, I don't know. But Omar, I want to say thank you very much indeed. You know, for ye waru menta kakafu majang ila kacha akang kontan akan kafanu, you know, nka karanje ba nka hakilma sodoje kafo dronko baraka ye waru menta. But ning this week Gambia political economy, I think it will be one that we will remember for a very long time. You know, coming in the memphone or Mama Kandeh quarter, coming Tuba went into the numbers. So in his mind, 2021, maybe Molga Mama Kandeh Mol Seni Nyaming, Mkana Nyina Fananko Mokoten or Losurakam. But whatever one may say about him, he still has a significant following. You know, coming after Nyamen, na karte fo be Nyame, ni mo dan karte ke sekidina. You know, yeah, done for foul. But the Lafake Nyingamena, in light of Menketa, Mama Kandeh GDC come, about a opposition coalition or Kuokono, UDP Fanang, among in Mol Mantente know who are the biggest winners this week in our politics. You know, is it UDP for extricating themselves from what could have potentially been, you know, an existential problem as some of their fans, supporters view it, or is it Barrow? Given that, you know, he managed to get Mama Kandeh. And in fact, maybe one last question, Lafaka Mem, sort of from you is, what do you make of how the president embraced Mama Kandeh in terms of ye kwenye warandi nyaming, you know? What it looks like this means so much to them. You know, what can we read into that?
No, ngamira winning obviously is Barrow, without a doubt. This week is his week. He will go to bed and sleep comfortably. You know, of course, UDP, all that decision is based on principle. It all they believe whether they win an election or not, it will a principle of defining. It all what they believe in, they stick with it no matter what happens. And understandably, sometimes, of course, you know, Imam Perfect, you know, even Dabo, you can criticize him for his comments in 2017, Kabrabo Kasoto. Kabrako Barote Priis ning at Honola, a lot of other things, you know. Asida Janefamo, you remember the, you know, teachers crisis, teacher soul, you know, when they go to when the rebel is they are going to dismiss them, you know, you know, those are things that, you know, can happen sometimes, emotions, you know. But generally UDP, you know, they've been sticking to their principles. And that you cannot take away from them, frankly speaking.
Yeah.
Whether he left Iman Lafila, it all he believed Amina, Jama stick world. But he come ila final question on Janimbe hope Korimanyina from the final one.
No, yeah, address there. I think essentially, Mbenyin Karo Kika Mena Wolemu, who the biggest winner. Okay, the last question was about how NPP and Mama Kandeh nyin ko kidimandi nyameng. Ya ko warandi nyameng, ya kumandi state house. E mandanka kumandi puranin president baro ni ala nyaton kol dam mangoli badi mbun kacha dam maso de dan wala badi inata ke nyin jambori bakata wati tuning cha mol fintita we are seeing the numbers. What can we read into how UDP are embrace NPP are embrace nyamente?
Ngamira nyinem biggest welcome to opposition from the NPP to an opposition figure. Is the biggest. But it was a low-key event. The discourse, I finished on the media discourse briefly, then but it was not a jamboree like this one. This one is
Dr. Siseta,
really huge. Yeah, Dr. Siseta, it was not as big as this one. Baro, I believe taku one yalong baro akafole amanke politician but the politician bale strategies bale I political understand bale hanina aka diamu especially naka diamu local language jele ka baro e political understand alon ne mol lafta ka mingmoy ani mol lafta moy la yalon ne wala na ibuka aje diamu la ka diamu based on policies. He knows how to manipulate Gambian voters. So I alone le Kandeh one anin Kandeh le kanyo sabanu sample la vote so with the coming of Talib so say ka be mo fula le soto la mol mini along ibe ba bila le afanan ka bida so what lo ring la to le ba fala look nyanta ke la all means ni mo fula la killing so beto andum ka Kandeh soto more by Jube can Nyaming, and the reality on the ground might be different. This could be a very, very, very big plus for the NPP. It could be a big plus for the NPP,
okay,
especially in rural Gambia.
Omar, the very last question, Janimbita, Baro Bala, political operator strategy, Bake, Sidinja Nyul, Dusano Nyul, and all these people. Who do we credit for this big scoop for Mama Kandeh na nga Sidinja ja balale nga je fanga tata bendung all the way State House Bundato. Who do you think worked on this? Jumala project of Mama Kandeh based on your reporting?
It's a bit difficult pour ya for Jumale maybe a role back play, but nalong Sidinja is among people many along. Ika war role play back in the NPP. But among guys in Toronto, the Masabali and others, of course, now long them about a GDC. I'm not sure whether I role play there, but the CD Nyul, Dudusano Nyul, I mean Jam Nyul, Ibeka new rules if I play. But the Along CD, Isa Jele acts one of the most trusted, among the lots by the president. So it a rule out I role mean play. Maybe he must have played a very, very key role in this whole thing. Because me the fact that I tell welcoming him lead, I can pick Nati. So it says a lot. Maybe that I tell him no motor drive can maybe he played the very key role who can convince kana NPP. But I'm sure
Dolka Makisala is there any credibility to that comment? Dolka for to Mandoba of Makisala Fanang year role so because not do for I think I saw Fufatu Rembang insinuating that Mama Kandeh was in Morocco or something like that, where Makisala lives. So is there something credible to those reports? Or you think it's just an internal call wrong?
No, it could be, because if you realize, in the past 10, 15 years, there has been this, you say these things, people think you are talking about tribalism, but there has been this complot among, big wings of Fullers around West Africa, pushing for the, for Fullers to be presidents around, especially in West Africa. So that group is there, and many other Fuller groups were backing them, and many rich Fullers were spending a lot of money to support their candidates. So you cannot rule that out. It's a possibility that Macky Sall must have played a part. It's possible, but I'm not sure about that. I have no facts to back that, but it's possible because in most cases, whatever is rumored, especially in Gambian politics, there is degree of truth behind it. So don't rule it out.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. We saw that Barrow managed to. It looked like he played a role in having Jomai endorse Macky Sall for the UN Secretary General. Mbalo was in the country, so it could be a scratch my back, I scratch your back situation. But Omar, thank you very much. Talking to you is always a pleasure. Yen ko faham ibe ko tema in politician ol kanyo mo karo bela ye ko ke so soto ila kacha akan kontan akan so hakilola akan na miro fananta ka yuwandi. Thank you very much ye wato menta kakafu masirifo akam da ko foda telele nun network ko mang sahaya fo yalan sin ho nyum politician ol de to la ko le kasia
Ibuka credit go for some. Ibuka credit go some.
I can see him in the background, but sirifo memenkela drum besero da legend drum. But maybe ngeselen di ninko be bulu ngoke saradori, please.
Yeah, anyway, thank you so much, Pale. Even for them, Commandora Cassia, below Vela, Mulde, Commandula, but, my Union Cardula, Damante Alonco, Kumata Bate. Willem, come the mediation team, Mulmeli Alonco, Willele Futanyolo, okay, Willele negotiation, okay. Mama Kandeh Barobe Kaplanyo Kanyame. I mean, those are for speculation, and it could be possible, it could be a speculation. Those are for it was a mind game play. Niagibe scenario nyulu according to Ekefonyame. Because Jamai Nimfoko Yalo Makisala ning President Baro Ibentanung Saudi Arabia, but Mbaro Beninjele. So kabiri bota nunje ya understand after naranaje menarna ke wolo nyuntu ko I mean Macky Sall na Senegal abur Senegal another Gambia jang so dol ka même fo wolo nyuntu ko mama ka men tanda la molla o mama e même fa la molle nyim ferro pour ka jama convince pour que convince no ni bidano nyame wolo nyuntu ko aning Macky Sall la mikta and then Kawan Macky Sall mita Macky Sall atanda lako I mean animbaro kachatale mama la kola baring na baro multi me alonko nyajibe nanyum the block ndajam ma fon block oning imang pare pour comme ka baro je prior ta tamla so pour baro mo pour pa me alonko wala bita ta tamla so baro ajibe ala mul kono amam mo nya farin jeje dal so and Mama Kandeh kala mo me alon ko Macky was able to negotiate pour Mama Kandeh na ay kafu I mean baroma na kafuta baroma so ebe menkala wala nyundu ko ela NPP alliance nyun kono ebe tala fonko la primaries la ni la primaries la baro bala support nyin abadila Mama Kandeh la kaje ko pour Mama Kandeh be winner ngamen pour
carte fay juma nyin carte fay bam fu carte fay ko den
no nyin carte fay menkana comme nyin carte fay me alon ko kanate
ibe même foka wala mo nyin carte fay na la GDC ni NPP bita primaries la le
no not NPP is not going to be comme baro de tarlaje comme baro de tarlaw primaries nyin kono comme baro be bola primary baro mental lola comme like they believe ko comme ay kuma kam même fo ila molye wala nyindiko baro abe join kam baro kan nyina kam ko baro mental lola election lola and ate is going to be somebody me alon ko baro batla londila bari pour baro
2026 carte fayo
2026 carte fayo alon mfalli this is something me alon ko I mean I want you to think about it yaje men kata wala nyindiko niaji be bi Mama Kandeh nim baro la MOU sign on the national presidents of both parties were there signé and then the deputy party leader of GDC but Nina na NPP ikatarako not the deputy party leader mayor sign because Demba Sabali is the deputy party leader of NPP but Demba Sabali ma sign it was Sirinjai and then Musa Drame Medanko ya sign and the president was standing so this is one thing Medanko will have to look at the way
no but it can Memphis and 34 this is pretty interesting so, but your story Bomintole about GDC joining and then Komen ka foko nyaato domandi eta primaries la. I don't think Barrow would want to do that. To have GDC for him to Mama Kandeh tambinde.
So I want to tell you. So I left aside. Ye la moy back. Mina diamond fole. Aje kabiri Mama Kandeh na la mol ye mitunke. Right. Na mol jusude le meli alonko. Eni Mama Kandeh katale. But niye jibe. Mol meli alonko eni Mama Kandeh kata. Fombe bi men kono. You cannot tell me a clear statement ye men bondi. Katandi ko itol bota GDC le. Okay, let's go to ila dibito nyin me alongo wala lo ronu nyamina is Cisse.
Omar.
Cisse is severo ke la ko resignation alert whatsoever. Yes, loaded. But yalon Cisse was a fail. And then you all seen that. But cabinet decision will make the call now if it join the NPP can Cisse ma fo ko mboto GDC le.
But I call loading. Ask him have a load can
No. After loading, there was another post. Left hakilo ale adi jongla pour yemira. Kabra ko loading kola nana mensa fe wolo nyundu ako. Anyway, ndemanta think I don't the Alibaba lamba. Uncle Sam ndemanta Uncle Sam la tatam nyimanta o support la. I will. Right? But amafoko Nanda had GDC le follow, but GDC is going to Uncle Sam. This is one thing I want you to do. Now, some of the senior members, up to now, we have not seen any one of them. I resigned from GDC. So now, yes, so I'm just telling you a very deep intel. Understand? So now,
okay.
Now you look at I think Ibrahim Anyang. Ibrahim Anyang is someone may along go anything about GDC. He does not waste time. He always come and answer straight. But up to still, we did not. Ibrahim Anyang was not at right now as we are speaking. Maje mol kono me along go at the State House. Ibrahim Anyang. But yet still, there is no clear statement. There is no clear statement. Ibrahim Anyang said kafuko ito about the GDC. So now, what people, the understanding of the people now, I want to tell you. Okay, because Mama I am going to lead MPP, but they have no evidence of this.
Okay, Sirifo, thank you very much.
For example, because they did not see any video.
Yes, I come to comfort Sirifo la kotake, but just like I was trying to kaitan the Sirifo la drong. Kuma jamal before that we cannot independently verify. Obviously, Sirifo Kanyi Memfoting is one of those. But ngamera men kweta mbas or sending Wolamuko, Mama Kandeh seems to be so excited joining Barrow. They all seem to be happy ka tara nyokang so koku belari ukoma. Bo fanan bain leleng haklo to ngajiba be kele nyame bari bide men kweta Wolamuko GDC ni NPP wolelu d'accord ka so nyokan ka kamben ka kilindi ka je ko de ye dunyin kate final kono Gambia nyatili menna benyin December karim men kono ten mbadi ngolu ngal jey ngal tentu alala mo ko nyima kan alla fasaro kan kabulan noma Bitilo to jang atol men ben jibe ka radio talbe moy kan Vibes FM le 106.1 FM atol men fanam bedulal to alni Bitilo kon ba fala kon ka fa nyamen al se subscribe na channel loto ko be ngaytan di nyamen na alala karo kari men siata mo wuli tansedi wolel ka na channel o visit ben kira na YouTube channel o di bari ngaje ko tala kilingo bebeje they are not subscribers binal subscribe ta wo be ke kula bahi wo be fanam mako ela ka kibaro janjang sonendi andun kibaro ka janjang nyamen akantul fanam wakilindi wala nyama nsa fale ko ale subscribe albe bur subscription botingo jela belongo babala nale wo diki dorom albe subscribe no lale ibaje ninga kibaro dati wato wadi ninga na documentary dundi albe kala mo foloti men baje la nga kilim fango dundi le membe dending 1994 coup d'état lalula ibe alhalo mento Bitilo la o documentary be jele ya jambe Edward Singate sana sabali Sadibu Haidara kata fo Yankuba Toure ñunu bela ko labanda nyaming ila ko lunata laba nyaming o documentary is there is one of our mini documentary series ngamen dati amanke fen jam farindi montoro minute tang bari kulem me alon ko alse karanno jasi nyafan ngo fanankeje alama tilo to di ala alama be tankala katani katato la wassalam ala baraka bake ngana panelisol bejay Sirifo Sonko UDP Tuba Mar data statistician aning Omar Ba le mu standard newspaper la chief political editor natele be num kacala alama tilo to diala alama be tankala katani karatulla wassalam ala baraka.
You're listening to Bitilo with Mfali Fadera.